You're watching the Mountain Folk Show with yours truly, Eastside Dave. You're coming along with us on a journey up Vermont's highest peak, Mount Mansfield. We've been climbing now for a couple of hours. We're still only about halfway to the summit. We'll press on, see if we can get up to the summit. As you get higher and higher up this mountain, the trail becomes more and more treacherous, especially on a rainy day like this, where the sun's in and out of the clouds and there's a mist up here. You can see right now we're climbing over streams and rock beds, and we're going straight up that fall line right up there. This is actually the trail. A little bit different than some of the trails you all might be used to, unless you've gotten around here. This is typical of the kind of trail you might find on high peaks like Mount Marcy or Algonquin and the Adirondack Mountains that are just to our west, the Adirondack Mountains of Lake Placid, New York, upper New York State. Come over here to the east a little bit, you find the Green Mountains of Vermont, and then go over to the east even further, and you see the White Mountains of New Hampshire. On a clear day, we up at the summit, you could probably see with ease the Adirondack Mountains to our west and the White Mountains of New Hampshire to our east, as we stand in the middle on the summit of Mount Mansfield, the highest mountain in Vermont, in the Green Mountains. But who knows what we'll find at the summit. We'll press on and see if we can find our way up there. Come along, and while you're coming, you can enjoy some more music. We'll do the sweating and the climbing, and you just enjoy the show. And on we climb, right here on the Mountain Folk Show. You're coming along with us through the power of video. I'm Eastside Dave Klein. I'm glad you've joined us here for the Mountain Folk Show. I hope you're enjoying the music. The Mountain Folk Show is all about the music. It's all about the folk culture of the mountains, the traditions and such. And one of the traditions in the mountains is you got to climb the trails if you can. You got to at least get out there and enjoy Mother Nature. And this is Mother Nature truly at its finest. The weather's been changeable today. It was raining, then it was foggy, then it was sunny. Right now it's sunny again. You can see we're at the higher elevation now. We came to a little bit of an alpine field here, and the ferns are just starting to unwind. We call these the fiddleheads because they look a little bit like the headstock of a fiddle. And if you look up there, we won't be done until we get way up there. We're kind of pointing the camera up in the sun. The cloud coming over right now. I'm kind of wondering how we're going to get up there. That's supposed to be a half a mile away, but it's going to be the longest half mile of our lives, I think, as we get up there. So let us press on, and we'll take you on up to the summit up there. At least that's our plan if the weather holds out. I've never been on this route before, as we're continuing to climb Mount Mansfield. By the way, you're watching the Mountain Folk Show with yours truly, Eastside Dave. Hope you're enjoying the music and the tour of Mount Mansfield. This is Vermont's highest peak. We're now on the rock cliffs that lead up to the summit, and as figured, the last 3/10 of a mile is certainly the toughest. We've encountered a chimney here that's very, very wet. Not exactly sure how to handle this except to kind of crawl up it and grab handholds and be as careful as we can be. Looks like the chimney goes up and around and then slants back toward the summit. So we'll give that a try. If you don't see any more videos, then you know we didn't make it. Enjoy some more music while we try and figure out how to get up there. Yahoo! Howdy hi. After 4 hours of steady climbing straight up, about the height of 4 Empire State Buildings stacked one on top of the other, plus some, we're at the summit of Mount Mansfield, the highest peak in Vermont. I'm yours truly, Eastside Dave Klein. Hope you're enjoying the music on this month's Mountain Folk television show. We enjoy bringing it to you, traveling around the world to bring you some mountain folk culture, traditions, music, and of course, as I said earlier in the show, hiking is one of the big traditions. We're up here in this ridge. It's been on and off weather all day long. Don't know how long we can stay here. Hopefully long enough to have a peanut butter sandwich, and then we have a 4-hour slog back down the mountain. We have to be very careful. Most accidents happen in mountaineering on the way down because you're tired, you've achieved your objective, and so forth. But if you look down here, we can pan down very slowly. Follow my hands down. We see that this indeed is the high point marker right here, this gold button on the summit of Mount Mansfield. Now let's come back up. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to take the camera in just a moment and do a panoramic shot. I want to thank my wife, the cameraman, camerawoman, Kath Klein. Good job. You made it all the way up here too. All right, let's do a panoramic shot and tell you what we see when we get to the summit. Here's the panoramic view looking down, looking toward the east. We're looking over in the high peaks, or New Hampshire's high peaks, the furthest ones off in the distance. Now we're going to look south and continue around. When we do the winter climb of Mount Mansfield, we come up from this direction, the south, and the first thing you see when you get to the summit is the falls from it right here. And almost a 360-degree view. If you look way off in the distance there, you can see the Adirondack Mountains of upper New York State poking through the cloud layers way off in the distance. Continue to pan around, and you can see that we in fact have a 360-degree view here of the mountains. Just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So they'll say, well, was it worth the climb and the hike? And the answer is absolutely it was. Looking over there toward the summit of a mountain called Madonna and Whiteface. There's two Whiteface mountains, one in Lake Placid, New York, and one right here in Vermont. The higher one in the sun off in the distance is the Whiteface. The one that's partially in the sun and partially not, you can see a structure at the top of a chairlift, is Madonna, and then a little bit closer to a Spruce Peak, and that leads down into the Stowe side of the Smuggler's Notch. Okay, you too can join Mount Folks Yodel University. Yodel-ay-hee-hoo from the summit of Mount Mansfield in Vermont. Howdy hi, you're watching the Mountain Folk Show with yours truly, Eastside Dave Klein. If you just tuned in, we're exploring the Green Mountains of Vermont. We've been on Mount Mansfield climbing, taking you on a climb throughout the entire television show this time around. We've been enjoying some great music, and we're on our way down now. We've been on the summit, and we're now 6.5 hours into this trek. And I'll tell you, coming down is just as difficult as going up, so there's no rest for the weary. We're going to keep pressing on. Tonight, I think a cold brew and maybe a hot tub will be in order. So let's have some more music for you, and tell some friends about our Mountain Folk Show, won't you please, and tell them when to tune in, and we'll see you and them when you guys tune in again. Check out this cliff here that we're going along. You gotta look at it before we go. Just unbelievable. Sheer rock face. It goes up hundreds of feet. Amazing. Absolutely astounding.